Commander Replay. We try out this Yennett all odds no evens deck against Jodah, Obzedat, and Naru Meha. Find out who wins next on Commander Replay. Thank you to all of my awesome Patreon supporters. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. Hey guys, I just wanted to apologize real quick for a lot of the audio issues that I have in this video. It'll get a little bit better as the video goes on, but the start is pretty rough. I did pick up a new microphone cable yesterday, and next week I'm hoping to get a new computer, so hopefully that'll clear up some of these issues, but just bear with me until then. Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Yennett Cryptic Sovereign. Take a look at our opening hands. 2 lands, pretty slow. Let's mulligan that. It's not amazing, but we do have mana ramp in this Worn Power Stone, and if we get the white mana for this Boreas Charger, then that can potentially help out our land situation a bit. It feels pretty risky. I'm gonna try it. We have quite a few board wipes in the deck, so if worst case scenario, even if we miss a couple lands, we can hopefully just lay down some board wipes and get caught up that way, catch up in the late game. So Jodah's going to start it off, and we took our mulligan, decided to keep on the 2-lander on hopefully the strength of this Boreas Charger, but we still do need white mana. And Obzedat mulled all the way down to 4. That's pretty rough start for them. They will get their draw per turn, but it sounded like 4 was going to be okay. So we're playing Yennett all odds. There are no evenly costed cards in this deck, so everything in our deck cost 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and I don't think I included the 13, which is Emrakul. There's a Path to Exile, not the land we were looking for. Let's get this tap land in first, and we'll pass like that. A little shy on lands in this deck at 36. Typically for Magic Online, you really want to be around 38. Paper you can drop down to 37, generally okay. Magic Online, even at 38, can be pretty unforgiving, just the way the shuffler is, so yeah. See if that bites us today. Turn 1 Mana Crypt for the Obzedat, and then they fire off a Painful Lesson and draw 2 cards, so not a terrible start. If you got a mull to 4, that's probably one of the better ways to do it. All things considered, they might have a better start than we do if we don't catch that 3rd land, and particularly a white one. Saldevi Excavations, huh? That's an island. We need a... Enters the battlefield, sacrifice an untapped island. Okay, yeah, I guess we're going for the excavations right here. Sacrifice the island. Now we have 2 mana, and nothing we can do with 2. Looks like we're passing. So if nothing else, next turn we can at least play the Worn Power Stone, and then after that we can start scrying to try to find the lands that we need. Mana Crypt flip on the Obzedat. I'm joined by 2 Patreon supporters today, by the way. The first one is Doc Chalk playing the Obzedat Ghost Council deck. Ooh, and they're going to lay down a Smothering Tithe. All right, all right. Yeah, it looks like they had a pretty good opener. Naru Meha opponent's going to respond with a Brainstorm. I don't remember seeing this at a Dominaria. Naru Meha, Master Wizard, 2 blue for a 3/3, has Flash, enters battlefield, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control, not bad. You may choose new targets for the copy, cool. Other wizards you control get +1/+1. Seems like a pretty interesting, potentially wizard tribal deck. That is a Smothering Tithe into play for the Obzedat, though. And they're going to start getting treasure tokens, so yeah, they are already in much better shape than we are on the mull to 4. All we've done is play 2 lands. And we do not yet have anything to shoot that Smothering Tithe. Would love to find something to do that. Although we also don't have the mana colors right now to shoot the Smothering Tithe, since a lot of those things require black and white mana, which we do not currently have. Ugh, Stony Silence. Well, I guess that's going to shut down the treasure tokens. Guess we don't... Ooh, also shuts down the Mana Crypt. That's going to hurt Obzedat quite a bit. If we draw Plains off the top right here, we can get the Charger down. Hey, Plains off the top. How about that? All right. Smothering Tithe. Nope, not paying for that. Play the Marsh Flats. Crack the Marsh Flats. We're going to get a Scrubland. Scrubland into play. And then we will play the Boreas Charger. Now we just wait for it to die. Get some extra lands. In all likelihood, next turn I'll probably still lay down the Worn Power Stone anyway. Even though the Stony Silence is down, someone will probably try and shoot the Stony Silence at some point, I would imagine. So the middle opponent, by the way, is not a Patreon supporter, just someone we had to pick up for the game. As we talked about a little bit, piloting that Naru Meha deck. They lay down a Makokoro. Kokoro is cool. And then finally, we have another Patreon supporter, Z-Sauce, piloting Jodah Archmage Eternal, and they're the ones that savagely laid down that Stony Silence against the Obzedat, and that's going to slow the Obzedat right down. Obzedat saying they don't have anything to remove that Stony Silence. You're in black-white, man. What are you doing? You should be having all the removal in that deck. We have a little bit. We just don't have any in hand currently, so that's a thing. And as I mentioned, we are playing Yennett. Cryptic Sovereign is 2 white, black, blue for a 3/5 with Flying Vigilance Menace. Pretty interesting abilities right there. And whenever it attacks, reveal the top card of your library. If that card's converted mana cost is odd, you may cast it without paying its mana cost, otherwise draw a card. So we can cast literally every non-land in our deck because we are running only odd-costed cards. Is there a strategic benefit to that? Probably not, but I just wanted to try it and see where it goes. So that's what we're doing today. We draw a Future Sight. I have mixed feelings about that Future Sight. Right here, let us play this island, play the Worn Power Stone. We'll leave the white untapped just in case we got to sword something. Jodah is usually worth swordsing. Jodah last turn laid down an Afara, by the way. Pretty good little thing. Do we see this deck already? Have they played this deck? I remember seeing a Jodah deck with Afara in it, and it got some nastiness going with like Locust God and some other things. Skipped our attack with the Boreas Charger, not too worried about it. Playing low is probably a better idea for this deck at the moment than anything else, really. Hypnotic Spectre coming down. We have a sweet blocker to that Hypnotic Spectre. I imagine they'll just go full tilt at the Jodah. Let's see if opponent end steps this Makokoro. I would love to draw a card. Yeah, end step in the Makokoro. All right, there's an Anguished Unmaking. So that'll be extremely helpful. Cannot pay for the Smothering Tithe. So, you know, there's kind of a toss-up. If we shoot the Stony Silence, then Obzedat's going to have a whole lot of mana via those treasure tokens. Don't know if that's exactly worth exchanging for our Worn Power Stone yet. Unfortunately, that Anguished Unmaking is also not the land that we were looking for, so I'm probably going to have to scry on our turn and see if we can get to a land. Smothering Tithe continuing to trigger. Many, many treasures. There's a Ponder for the Wizard opponent. Spellseeker coming down for the Naru opponent. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost 2 or less, reveal it, put it in your hand, shuffle your library, see what they're going for. So when I was talking about our commander, one thing I forgot to mention is that I decided to go just kind of an Esper Reanimator kind of thing. We have Shieldred, we have Rhea, we have Debtor's Knell. A card that I always want to use, but I don't play a ton of black and white, and even when I do, it's not always the right deck for Debtor's Knell, so just a really cool card. I know it's expensive, it's slow, but it's been a super sweet card for a long time, and just doesn't get to see as much play as I feel like it should. So yeah, like I said, we're just kind of doing a big creature reanimator-y thing. Didn't know exactly where to go with the odd costed only, and things like the Primordials all happen to be the right cost for this deck. A lot of creatures in the 7 and 9 drop slots, so that's where the main focus of this deck will be. Jodah coming into play. Oh man, do we swords it? Do we swords it? Yeah, we probably should. We have tons of removal, so swords the Jodah. So when we get back to our turn, Afara is going to trigger one time. And then we're going to use the Scry because we want to find some lands right here. Well, there's a land. It was on top, so we'll leave it on top. Smothering Tithe will continue to trigger. Do not have the mana. Play the Glacial Fortress, and looks like we're passing like that. So next turn, at the very least, we can get our commander into play, remembering that the Excavations taps 4/2. So yeah, we'll be able to get our commander into play. Probably won't go with the Scry. Hopefully, if opponent uses the Makokoro again, I don't know that they will, then we can at least get another land into our hand. Would make me super happy. I guess we could also get, Future Sight down next turn, which may actually even be a better idea than our commander. Vampiric Tutor for the Obzedat. Let's see what they're going for. If they have any removal for that Stony Silence, I think we're probably about to see it. There's a Waste Knot for the Obzedat opponent, so it looks like they are not running any removal in black and white. Seems a little bit suspect. I would add a little removal in, but just as we suspected, removing the Jodah, Hypnotic Spectre swinging over to the Jodah. So Jodah going to have to lose some cards and some life. And that's going to trigger the Waste Knot. Opponent discards a Replenish. I think this might be the Gods Tribal Jodah deck. Naru's just going to pass with all their mana up and discard to hand size. Weird. They discard a Negate. They've already discarded a War of Invention. Not really sure what this Naru opponent's up to. Could be a counterspell right there. Cryptic Command, maybe? I don't know. See if they try countering Jodah. Hopefully they do, and we can get this Future Sight down. If they just leave mana open on our turn, I'll probably go for our commander instead of Future Sight. Future Sight a little bit too powerful to go to the graveyard. Our commander we can always recast even though it's a pain in the butt. There's a Phyrexian Arena for the Jodah. I would sign up for a Phyrexian Arena. I don't think we have double black, but you know. Alright, back to our turn. Would like to see a land off the top. Let's see how that goes. It is not a land. It is a Luminant Primordial. Possibly one of the furthest things from a land. So I guess that means we're just going to lay down our commander right here. Hope it doesn't go face first into a counterspell, even though I feel like it's about to. Alright, it resolves. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave the Boreas Charger back. We could be chipping in for damage, but like if someone decides to blow Yennett up with some spot removal, I'd like to be able to block this Hypnotic Spectre, or at least, deter the Hypnotic Spectre from coming our way. There's a Mind Rot. Opponent's going to target the Naru opponent. Interesting. Opponent going to unwind, counter target non-creature spell, untap up to 3 lands. All right. Really? They printed that in Dominaria? Why would they print a card like that? That untap lands mechanic is just like stupidly busted. I don't know why they would ever go back to that. I mean, they've already got Rewind. Did they really need another one of those? Hypnotic Spectre going back to the Jodah opponent. Opponent can use a Teferi's Protection. Wow, and that Hypnotic Spectre? I guess they don't want to lose it. Well, get that out of the way nice and early. Sounds good to me. Did I show the game yet where I got epically blown out by the Teferi's Protection? I can't remember if that video has gone live yet, but some video that I filmed last week, there was a Teferi's Protection and things went terribly wrong. That does mean that Stony Silence is not in play, so Obzedat can cough out their hand right now. Opponent's just going to pass. I think they missed that. Opponent's going to Factor Fiction. Okay. They chose us. Oh, boy. Aetherflux Reservoir, that's going to the second pile. Got Impulse, Arcane Denial. I mean, I think we're going like this. If you see a blue deck running Aetherflux Reservoir, that'll make you nervous. So they ditch the Aetherflux Reservoir and go for the other 4. Yeah, that's a lot of value. Rather not see the Aetherflux Reservoir. So opponent gonna cast that Jace Vryn's Prodigy. Okay. Opponent gonna send the Spellseeker into the Obzedat. Sure. Gonna be an Enlightened Tutor for the Obzedat. Enlightened Tutor is gonna get Swan-songed. Down that goes. And that'll bring it back to Jodah's turn. Their stuff phases in, and Phyrexian Arena will trigger one time. Continues to trigger the Smothering Tithe. Ancient Tomb for the Jodah. That should get their life total moving. Heuristic Study coming down. Could really use some enchantment removal. No austere commands in this deck. That is a 6-mana card, though we still have removal in other forms. Sadly, I cut all his dust right before I fired up the game. Opponent's going to put Song of the Dryads on our commander. That's super annoying. Gives us 3... Well, see what we draw into right here. Could use something big. Or land. Lands are something big. Draw a Mana Vault. That is... we can't use the Mana Vault. Okay. So Mana Vault not helpful right here. I think we want to get this attack off, so we're going to shoot the Song of the Dryads. Black, white, blue. Heuristic Study is going to trigger. Don't think... Do we pay for that? Not going to pay for that. Just in case we get like an additional land somehow, some way. So our commander is a creature once again. Very cool. I'm going to swing into the blue opponent right here. Could use something big off of the top. So we go to combat. Yennett's going to trigger. Hey, it's an Angel of Despair. Cast the Angel of Despair. I guess now? Yeah, I guess they'll just pay for it now. What are we shooting? Stony Silence? Heuristic Study. Definitely Heuristic Study. So we'll pay for the Heuristic Study right here. Gonna shoot the Heuristic Study. So Heuristic Study down, and we leave a blue floating, I guess. We're still in attacks. So, yep, not too much we can do with that. Mana Crypt flip on the Obzedat. I feel like they must have been losing all of these because their life total is really low. They're down to 26. I don't even think they've been attacked like once. They're at 23. Where did all their life go? They Vampire Tutored, that's a little bit. Painful Lesson, that's a little more. Man, their life total's going down quick. Obzedat, Ghost Council coming into play. Gonna shoot the blue opponent. Down for that. Opponent's gonna snap on the Obzedat. Savage. Glad they didn't snap our commander. That would have been annoying. Gonna send both creatures into the blue opponent. That sounds good. Starting to get worried about what they're up to. They've been playing. They have a lot of instants and sorceries in their deck. Looks like a counter everything until they combo kind of deck. It's going to be time to start putting some pressure on them. So opponent takes a hit for 4, goes down to 31. Hypnotic Spectre is going to trigger, and opponent's going to Mystical Tutor. It's probably not good since like they have that Jace. They could get something nasty, flip it over, and do it again. Yeah, that all seems not great. They reveal a Ghostly Flicker, exile 2 artifacts, creatures, and or lands you control, then return those to the battlefield under your control. Weird. Waste Not's going to trigger. Opponent discards a Flood of Recollection. Return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah. This looks like a combo deck if I've ever seen one. So opponent's going to activate the Jace. It's going to trigger the Smothering Tithe. It's going to trigger the Waste Not. Jace flips over. That thing really has 5 loyalty on the backside. That seems excessive for a 2-mana walker that's very easy to flip. Opponent's going to Treasure Cruise. So they'll delve and they get to draw 3 cards. I'm a little bit happy to see some of their stuff exiled. Aetherflux Reservoir is in exile. There's a few things we won't have to be worrying about coming back. Opponent's going to use the plus mode on Jace, and they're going to put it on the Hypnotic Spectre. Sure. Here comes a Deathrite Shaman for the Jodah opponent. Deathrite Shaman, not the best for our blue and black Primordial. Enchantress Presence coming down. There's an Iroas coming down. Yeah, so Jodah doing the God Tribal thing. Opponent has a lot of card draw in that deck. We've already shot Rhystic Study. They have Arena in play. They have Afara in play. Now they have Enchantress Presence in play. Yeah. Can bring it back to our turn. We draw a card. Smothering Tithe will trigger. There's a Sensei's Divining Top. Guess we're going to go for the Sensei's Divining Top right here. Oh, wait, we can't activate it. Yep, Stony Silence still in play. No Sensei's Divining Top. I feel like if I try to go Future Sight first, it's just going to get countered. So I'm going to attack into the blue player, see if I can bait out some mana right here. I'm going to send Angel of Despair into the Jace. Have a feeling it's going to get bounced. Then I'm going to send the other two at the face of the blue opponent. Yennett's going to trigger. Hope something big. It's a Soothsaying. We will cast the Soothsaying. Opponent's gonna put -3/-0 on our Angel of Despair. There are worse things. So blue opponent goes down to 26. Still leaving 3 mana open. Easy Counterspell City right there. We have the Soothsaying. I think we're gonna try the Future Sight. Oh, there's the precious, precious lands that we've been missing. There's a Dark Ritual. Don't have any black mana currently, so can't use that. I will play the Sensei's Divining Top. Or do we leave a mana open for... Yeah, I'm going to play the Sensei's Divining Top right here. I know we can't use it, but theoretically that Stony Silence is going to go away eventually. And, yeah, we'll pass like that. Doc with many, many treasure tokens in play that he cannot use. Lesson learned, put artifact and enchantment removal in your decks. Have a way to deal with the Stony Silence. It does play an Altar's Reap, so he's going to get to draw 2 cards. Sacrifices the bird. Zulaport Cutthroat coming into play. Cool. Opponent's going to Impulse at the end step. Smothering Tithe will trigger. Luckily, the blue opponent's also been missing land drops. They're on land number 6, and it's turn 8. I mean, not that we're doing much better. We're on, 5, 6 technically with the excavations, also on turn 8. So, yeah, also missing 2 land drops. We do have an artifact waiting in the wings to be used, but blue opponent right now is still one short of a Cyclonic Rift. So, might be a good time to try and get in there before they have Cyclonic Rift mana. Jace is going to minus on the Impulse, so they're recasting the Impulse. Looking for something. Makes me nervous. Oop, there's a Rhystic Study. Gross. Luckily, opponent's down to 1 mana, though. There are some counter spells at 1, but not tons and tons. Jodah's turn. Phyrexian Arena will trigger. Deathrite Shaman going to exile the Mystical Tutor out of the graveyard of the blue opponent. I'm down for that. Each opponent will lose 2 life. Idyllic Tutor for the Jodah opponent. Ooh. Opponent goes for a Sphere of Safety on that Tutor. Ugh. Looks like we're not going to be attacking over there for a little while. So that's going to trigger the Rhystic Study and the Enchantress Presence. Looks like opponent has 1 they can pay if they want to. And looks like they're paying. I'm down for that. They get to draw cards. Smothering Tithe triggers. Sphere of Safety into play. Alright, so I think I'm going to Soothsaying right here. Are there any creatures in our opponent's graveyard? Oh, those stupid what's-his-face is out. He'll exile creatures on the Debtor's Knell. So Debtor's Knell, not really a good play right here. Diluvian Primordial is not terrible. There's an Enlightened Tutor we can go for. A Painful Lesson even. And decent stuff in the blue opponent's graveyard. We can go for a lot of card draw. Should be interesting. Actually, maybe we wait, because we have the Future Sight. So let's just draw the Dark Ritual. Alright, land on top. Cool. Not going to pay for the Smothering Tithe. Play the land. Plague Wind on top. Plague Wind doesn't, hit that much. Couple small things. Gets rid of the Deathrite Shaman. I guess we could play the Debtor's Knell after and, start getting these little value creatures of our own. That seems fun. Yeah, I guess we'll try that. So, let's go to combat. See if we can't bring down this Jace. Swing into the blue opponent. Let's get the Yennett trigger on the stack. And then we will Soothsaying. Looks like we can go X2. Well, there's an Expropriate on top. That seems pretty good. I guess we'll try that one first. We will cast the Expropriate. That will trigger the Rhystic Study. Let the Rhystic Study go. This might do it, depending on what opponents have. We will go Time. This is the only extra turn spell in the deck, by the way, so very lucky that we hit it. Choose something to gain control of. How about the Sphere of Safety? Choose another thing to gain control of. Jace or Rhystic Study? Let's go for the Rhystic... Jace is about to die. Let's go for the Rhystic Study. And I think we're going to grab the Smothering Tithe. I know we can't use it yet, but someday we will be able to use it. So let's do that. So we gain control of those 3 things. Sounds good to me. Jace goes down. Main phase 2, let's play this Dark Ritual. And get this Debtor's Knell. No targets for the Debtor's Knell, but, what can you do? Oh, one target, a Jace Vryn's Prodigy. Sounds good to me. Let's go ahead and get that. Bring it back to our turn. Don't really want Plague Wind in our hand, honestly. Take a look at the top three. Still in our upkeep right now, so putting a land on top would be ideal. No lands. There is a Commander Sphere, a Rapid Hybridization. Kind of ready to Rapid Hybridize our Boreas Charger, honestly. So I guess we go Commander Sphere. No. Rapid Hybridize to the bottom. I think actually the order that they're in exactly. Plague Wind right there and Commander Sphere. Go to combat. What do we lose if we kill the blue player? We lose the Rhystic Study and the Jace. I'm fine with that. Yennett will trigger. Play the Plague Wind. Zulaport Cutthroat will trigger twice. Obzedat gaining some life back. Everyone else going down a little bit. I'm going to Rapid Hybridize on our Boreas Charger because we need lands. We just need lands so badly. Sadly, we're going to shuffle away a Sword of Vengeance. So Boreas Charger is going to trigger. Search for some plains. Let's get this Godless Shrine and this Prairie Stream. And looks like we get one more. We'll get the Hallowed Fountain. We get to choose one to put into play tapped. Go for the Godless Shrine. Not paying the life. Play the Prairie Stream. Aura of Silence on top of our deck. Yeah, let's cast that. Karmic Guide on top of our deck. So Boreas Charger helping out quite a bit right there, I feel like. And yeah, I think we're passing like that. We'll leave up the Path to Exile. Mana Crypt Flip on the Obzedat. The Boreas Charger was a last-minute add, too. I was looking at the deck, I'm like, land count's low, and we don't have a lot of ways to get lands other than land tax, so I'm like, all right, let's get the Charger in there. Just as, since we're already kind of doing a reanimatory thing, we can mess around with that a little bit and, you know, try to get some extra lands that way, and so far those extra lands are looking pretty good. Mephidros Vampire coming into play. Rhystic Study will trigger. Opponent's going to pay for the Rhystic Study. There's actually a really interesting combo. So, like, if you let Smothering Tithe go for a few turns and, you know, you get, I don't know, let's say 5 treasure tokens, with Future Sight, you should be able to cast so many cards. Opponent's going to cast a Ghostly Flicker, exiling their lands. Naru Meha is coming into play. I guess we're going to draw a card. Draw the Karmic Guide, Ancient Tomb on top. Opponent says this goes infinite. Well then, let's turn off all that stuff. See if we can time this right. Opponent messed up their combo. It's good news for us. Opponent was talking trash that, well, not really talking trash, I guess, but opponent was saying that, yeah, that we were right, it was a mono-blue combo deck, and they're about to go infinite. They messed it up while doing that, but we were sitting on a Path to Exile, so not super familiar with that combo, but if I sat and thought about it for a little while looking at everything on the stack, I might be able to stop it. Mana Crypt into play for our opponent. It does not tap for mana. We're showing a land on top. Finally seeing some lands now. Couldn't find any at the beginning of the game, but I think a single Expropriate might be enough to get us the game here. We'll see what happens. Hour of Revelation could still be a thing that happens, but or an Ugin. Opponent said they had a Pact. Interesting. Well, definitely gonna have to kill them now. Here's an Academy Rector. That's a pretty good one. And that's gonna get Pact of Negated. Rhystic Study will trigger twice. We continue to draw. So we draw into a Brainstorm and a land. So it brings it back to our turn. Debtor's Knell. Academy Rector seems pretty good, right? Or do we want more Boreas Charger? Go for the Academy Rector. Oh, there's a Shieldred. Shieldred is cool. Opponent's going to Cyclonic Rift. Why, opponent? Why would you do that when we're not coming your way? What are we doing? That's a dies. Alright, how are we getting direct damage in here? Check the deck real quick. Don't think there's any counterspells left in the deck. Negative. 0 counterspells in the deck. Alright, blue opponent's going to scoop. I am fine with that. Not going to draw with the Rhystic Study. I like Shieldred not in our hand, honestly. 7 mana's a lot with all the land drops we've been missing, so blue player scoops it. Okay, that's the main thing. I want to get them out of the game. I know they're playing combo, so that's kind of a big deal. Gets to the end of the combat step. Ugh, yeah, we just lost a lot of value right there. I'm going to just play the Angel of Despair right here. Going to blow up the Stony Silence. It's been bad news for all of our mana rocks. We have a land drop left. Play an Ancient Tomb. Get that. Play this Mana Vault. Use the Mana Vault. Get this Commander Sphere. Use the Commander Sphere. Get this. Get the Worn Power Stone back to play. And we've got one left. With that, I'll go for the Sensei's Divining top. We'll pass the turn like that. Discard some 14 cards in hand. We have 1, 2, 3 lands in hand. Get rid of the Luminate Primordial. That's been not very helpful this game. We'll put the Diluvian Primordial in the bin. Discard 1 land. Susang, a bit redundant with Senseis. Brainstorm, redundant with Senseis. Down to 9 cards. 1 more land, and Phyrexian Arena. Waste Not coming back to play. Mana Crypt coming back to play for the Obzedat opponent. Arterial Flow. Each opponent discards 2 cards. If you control a vampire, each opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. Ooh. We're going to discard Yennett, Path Exile. Haven't been a lot of things worth pathing. Waste Not's going to trigger a bunch of times. Opponent's going to animate dead, on our Diluvian Primordial. That's bad news. There's a lot of stuff in our graveyard. Less options in the other opponent's graveyard, though. I'm going to go for a Cyclonic Rift and a Brainstorm. Interesting. I would have actually expected that they go for Anguished Unmaking and get rid of some of these enchantments is kind of what I expected. Opponent's going to bounce our Sensei's Divining Top. Whatever. So, Divining Top back to the hand. Smothering Tithe back to play. Arena trigger on the Jodah. Man, we killed the Jodah that one time, and it has not come back to play, and it is turn 11. Yeah, I think that officially makes that Swords of Plowshares worth it. Smothering Tithe triggering and actually relevant at this point. Academy Rector back to play. Locust God coming down, that's a good one. Kind of wish I kept that Path to Exile now. It's going to get back to our turn. Afara will trigger. Mana Vault will ping us. Got that Afara Locust God combo going again. That's a pretty good one. We do have a Luminate Primordial that we can reanimate to get rid of that Locust God. It seems like it might not be a bad idea. Not going to pay. So we draw into that Shieldred. Smothering Tithe will trigger. Play the Hallowed Fountain untapped. We have 15 total mana. That's 7. That's 7. That's 14. We can go Shieldred, Debtor's Knell, Sensei's Divining Top. Doesn't seem awful. Or we could go... Those are both 5. We go Karmic Guide, Future Sight, Aura of Silence. May not be awful either. Prefer the more reanimated plan, though. Make sure we tap our lands properly so we don't shoot ourselves in the foot. Maybe we go Shieldred. I think we definitely need to go Karmic Guide. I was thinking about Future Sight for a moment, but we really need Karmic Guide. So Karmic Guide, get the Luminate Primordial. Exile the Zombie and the Locust God. Then we're going to lay down this Aura of Silence because Jodah's playing mostly enchantments. So, yeah, should put a little bit of a hurting on them. So Locust God into exile, get the Aura of Silence into play. Let's do some attacking. Attack this way, get rid of the insect token. And we'll pass turn like that. So Mana Crypt, Afara, and Shieldred will trigger. So opponent has to sacrifice the Diluvian Primordial. The reason I didn't exile that is so that we can get it back to the Shieldred to get sacrificed. Max of the Coffer's coming into play. Little ambitious without an Urborg. They only have 3 swamps currently. So pass turn, Phyrexian Arena and Shieldred trigger on the Jodah. So they're going to sack the Academy Rector and get to go find an enchantment. Let's see what they got. Ooh, opponent got a Maelstrom Nexus. First spell they cast each turn has Cascade. Seems pretty good. So we do have this Aura of Silence. The trick right here is that we know we need to shoot Sphere of Safety if that comes down. Which means I'll probably... If it doesn't come down this turn, then, I don't know, maybe we shoot the Maelstrom Nexus. But it's tough to say. This deck needs a Cleansing Nova. I did not include Cleansing Nova, but I really should have. There's a Blasphemous Act, so that's going to wipe everything away. Planar Collapse at the beginning of your upkeep. If there are 4 or more creatures on the battlefield, sacrifice it. Oh boy. Think we're going to get to see this Debtor's Knell. Opponent does not play the Planar Collapse. All the creatures get swept away in the board wipe. There's a Captain Sisse. That's a good one. Afara will trigger, and Mana Vault will trigger. Smothering Tithe will trigger. Brings it back to our turn. We draw a land. Not going to pay for the Smothering Tithe. So let's get Future Sight down. See what's on top. It's a land. We'll grab the land from the top. There's a Necromancy. Let's... how much mana do we have left? We have 10. That's exactly enough for Necromancy and Debtor's Knell. So, Necromancy. Get Angel of... or... Be completely honest, opponents don't have, like, super amazing spells for the Diluvian Primordial. So we'll go Angel of Despair. Shoot down this Captain Sisse. Seems like the immediate problem. Prevent that from untapping. Also, we can get it on our next turn. Cannot play that additional land yet. And then we'll go for the Debtor's Knell right here. Debtor's Knell in, and I guess we have 1 left for the Sensei's Divining Top. And we'll pass like that. One thing that I've been looking at, though, is that we have Susang and Phyrexian Arena in our graveyard. So if we go Diluvian Primordial and get Replenish, that gives us a lot more drawing power, which I think is interesting. Uh-oh. I think a big X spell is coming. Yep, there's a debt to the debt list for X14. Each opponent loses 2 times X life. That's gonna do it. Oh well, this game had to end sooner or later. One of the things I do not love about playing Esper is just how long the games take. If you're not playing like Esper combo can win quickly, but creature Esper, very, very slow. So Doc Jock taking it down with the big X spell and just sitting, treasure tokens and things like that. Turn 13. I mean, oh man. If that doesn't happen, it's still going to be probably 3 or 4 turns before we get enough creatures on board to think about doing enough damage. So, good game to them. Really interesting game in that no one was really putting a lot of pressure. Like we applied the most pressure, particularly to the blue opponent. But yeah, not a lot of pressure in this game. Everyone just kind of sitting back and really taking it easy. How did I feel about the deck with no even mana costs? It's awkward. It's certainly awkward. It is cool that, as long as it's a non-land, Yennett can cast it. But honestly, if you want to build the best version of this deck, some evenly costed cards will be fine. You saw how we had both Sensei Divining Top, Soothsaying. You can run all of the Brainstorm type of effects. There are a lot of ways to manipulate the top of your library and make sure that there's something odd there to cast. So I wouldn't really recommend this. I don't know that this is particularly the best build of it either, since, we're kind of just going a lot of 7-drop creatures and doing the reanimating thing and just very slow and value-driven, but it was fun to check out, so I had a good time. Let me know what you guys think of this deck. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.